please talk a little bit about now the benefits of the final resting place of that carbon.
There are a multitude of great applications for this particular product. I'll start with a really big one, and that has, probably relatable advantages, and that would be use in soil, putting it back into a soil that we actually grow our foods in as part of a soil amendment product. So once you actually get the biochar in the soil, it would have the ability to start rebuilding the hard to break down carbon while maintaining its structure, because biochar has a lot of porosity. It's very much like a sponge. And therefore, the carbon kind of starts acting like housing for the nutrients, housing for microbes, microorganisms, and even smaller animals that live in the soil and actually give soil the value. And then as far as the root of the plant goes, it gives the root a better accessibility to the nutrients that would be in that soil amendment. And another important component too is water balance and retention that biochar-rich or carbon-rich soil would have. In other words, it will help to maybe extend even the growing season by days or sometimes weeks, because you're maintaining the water, retaining the water underground much longer, and you're not subjecting the soil and the ground to a quicker evaporation or what have you. So there's multitude of uses, and I can talk about that for a long time, but those are some of the main ones around soil amendment.
I wanted to touch also a little bit on another application that it's been fascinating to read, using it as an additive in concrete. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And that's a really great way to sequester carbon or biochar in concrete, because the concrete structures usually have a long lifeline. And then, if you look at areas that are prone to earthquakes, for example, or seismic movements, or indeed northern Midwest and upper Midwest in the United States, that you see very cold temperatures and hot temperatures in the summer, that expansion and construction of concrete and road surfaces and any kind of a hard surface is enhanced by biochar being part of that, because of its porosity and ability to be more of a flexible. It acts a little bit like an embedded sponge. So if you have an earthquake, you might not crack that concrete as quickly with biochar included in the concrete. If you have a road, you might not crack that because of temperature or earthquakes.
It's a little bit like that popular saying that sometimes the solution to problems is typically hidden somewhere in the problem. And it seems to me that this technology and biochar as a product is kind of like turning a current enemy, carbon in the atmosphere, right, and kind of making it our ally, into inserting it into different layers of the human activity. But the more important and the one that impacts me the most is the soil amendment, because it's so tied to food production.